Hello and welcome back to part two. This is going to be a local flight in the Seattle area, Pacific Northwest. Um, I want to try to fly up to Port Townsend. Making sure it's wrong. I have this on my TV so I wanted to make sure I was live and that the sound was working. And then I hit the wrong one. So anyway, I want to try to fly here on the Seattle sectional. I'm going to be taking off from Boeing Field. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. So I want to go on, this is Sky Vector, and Boeing Field is right here. SeaTac Airport is right here. Renton Airport is right here. So they're all in very close proximity. This is all the Seattle Class B airspace. So what I want to do is take off from Boeing Field here, and I'm going to look at I have real weather, but I set the time at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon because it's like 8 o'clock. So then I want to just check real world flight radar and just see what direction the flow is. It was north earlier today. I was watching, I was supposed to fly this weekend and the weather is pretty bad. So I canceled my flight. I was actually going to do the flight that I want to do here. So the flow is south right now. So here's a Alaska Airlines flight is arriving right over top of Boeing Field down to SeaTac. So they're if you can see my mouse cursor here, the arrivals to SeaTac are coming down south here. They come right over the top of Boeing Field. So the weather at Boeing Field in real life is showing, it's not showing any wind. Sometimes it doesn't. 10 statute miles, a few clouds at 800, broken 1,500, overcast 5,500. So, and the altimeter is really low, 2,959. So it's sketchy, and it seems sketchier down to the south. The Tacoma, that's at the Air Force Base, McCord Air Force Base, light rain, broken 500. Over at Tacoma Narrows is 3 miles, light rain, overcast 400. Bremerton is 6 miles, scattered, saying 400, overcast 3,100. So I wouldn't fly in this, but I want to fly. So on here. And then up here at Jefferson County, I flew up here on my last live stream flying video and I crashed. I was having this problem with the white dot on Flight Simulator was locking onto the instruments and affecting my ability to fly. So it's overcast 6,500, 10 miles, wind is 2204. So usually it's worse up here than down in Seattle a lot of times. So it seems to be better up that direction. Kane Field, where they build the wide body Boeing aircraft, is overcast 9,000. Arlington, again, is overcast 7,000. Port Angeles, so it would tend to be worse out this way. This is where the weather comes from, off the Pacific out here. So I'm going to try to fly up to Port Townsend. And then the other factor here is how do we get out of here? So on the sectional, we can go to the flyway. On the terminal area chart. So on Sky Vector, if you go up into an area like this on a sectional, which is here, we were on the Seattle sectional. So you can put yourself anywhere, really anywhere you want to be in the country, and then zero in, and so you could go world VFR. And this would show everything. So then you go to the sectional, Seattle. And then we can zoom in. And so here you can see this is the Class B airspace. And then these are all the altitudes of the Class B, the upside down wedding cake. So like out here, it's 6 to 10,000, 5 to 7,000. So what we want to do is we want to get out of here and head up this way. So if we look at the terminal area chart, it's pretty similar. But on the back side of the terminal area chart is this flyway. So what they have at Boeing Field here are some special procedures. So it's a south flow right now. So we want to look at south departures. We either want to do Alki, we could do Vashon. This would take us south off the runway on a right downwind, and then either over to Vashon or up to Alki. So I think we'll try to do the Alki one. It's one I've never actually done in real life. So the procedure, south departure, Alki is the depart full length, and when able, so they usually put us on the long runway, which would, in this case, on the 14 right is the big runway at Boeing Field. There's a shorter runway that'd be 14 left, but if we're going that way, they normally would put us on that. So depart full length, and when able, make a continuous right turn to the downwind at or inside the Duwamish River while maintaining 700 feet MSL. So I've done that portion before on the Vashon departure. And then after passing the control tower, make a slight left turn toward Alki Point Lighthouse, approximately ground track 300 degrees, maintain at or below 1,500 MSL. Over the lighthouse, proceed to Restoration Point, then toward Bainbridge Island, then on course. So it's 1,500. After passing the control tower, make a slight left turn toward Alki Point Lighthouse, approximate ground track 300, maintain at or below 1,500. So we'll look at that here. When we take off, we're going to take off on the big runway south, and we're going to make a very quick right downwind inside the Duwamish River, which is like right there. So, and then once past the control tower, approximate ground track of 300 towards Alki Point, which is up here. So I guess Alki Point is this point here. So it's I mean, I'm familiar with Alki. This whole area is known as Alki, but the actual Alki Point lighthouse is right there. So it's really the outer point of that. It's funny, they have points on here like Fauntleroy Ferry, but then this little triangle here is actually called Lincoln Park, and the procedure actually tells you to report Lincoln Park. I don't know why they don't just have you report Fauntleroy Ferry, but that's on the inbound. So Alki Point. So we just want to head up to that outer point. Because last time I tried to fly this on Flight Sim, I couldn't really tell where Alki Point was. So then we head towards Bainbridge, which is this island here. And then from there, we'll head up. This is less than 50 miles. It's not really across country. Then we look for landmarks up here. There's an airport here called Apex. Where is it? Apex is here. So we're coming up. We should see that. And then Paulsbo, it's a town here. And then the Hood Canal floating bridge. There's 3 floating bridges. This is one of them. That one sunk a long time ago. There's 2 floating bridges here. This is the I-90 bridge, which is a important point when flying VFR out this direction, and then up here is the 520 bridge. And so those are the 3 floating bridges that I know of in Washington. And then, so once we see the Hood Canal Bridge, and then this is the mouth of the Hood Canal. So Hood Canal is a big fjord, it comes down in here, and then once we get past there, we just basically fly up this coastline right here. Port Ludlow is a pretty obvious town. I have some friends that live over here, so I know this area real well. And then on up into Jefferson County, which is the airport for Port Townsend. So that's pretty much the main thing we want to also look for is as we're climbing out, it's at or below 700 until past the control tower, head off here to 300. And we want to maintain 1500 up through here. And the class B is in here is 2000 to 10,000. So, and in here, this box, it's 1800. So once we're out of here, once we get out of here, we're out of the path of the arriving airliners. So we can start climbing up out here, 1500. And then once we get out over the water, it's 3000. Once we get over to Bainbridge, it's 5,000. Once we get up by Paulsbo, it's still 5,000. And then once we get up, let's see, Bangor is over here. This is a military, I think it's this is the submarine base. And then there's this other national security area. Oh, it doesn't show on this one. It's up here. Does it show on this? Well, it sort of barely shows. This for reason is national security pilots are requested to avoid flight at or below 2,900 here. So we'll just be coming up right up in here. We'll just try to follow the power lines up here, power lines and kind of the shoreline of the power lines. And then the airport is actually closer to this bay or this inlet over here. So, and that inlet there is coming in off of the Strait of Juan de Fuca, where this over here is really part of the Puget Sound. So I'm familiar with the area, which helps. So I'm going to try to now pull in my present. Oh, shoot, there we go. Okay. Present. Let's see if I can pull in my flight sim. Hopefully. We should have sound. Just be sure of that. Flight sim. The weather's sketchy. It's raining. Hopefully. We should have sound. Just be sure of that. Flight sim. Let's see. The weather's sketchy. It's raining. Hopefully. We should have sound. Just be sure of that. I don't hear the airplane. Flight sim. Let's see. The weather's sketchy. It's raining. Hopefully. We should have sound. Just be sure of that. I don't hear the airplane. I think so I'm still trying to learn how to do this. I think what I was doing is the sound was horrible, but I think I was picking up the sound off the TV that it was going back through. So, all right, let me see if I can fix the sound issue here. We'll stop sharing for a moment, and then go present, share screen. We got okay. To share audio, share a tab or screen instead. Okay. I think that happened the other day. So I have to share the entire screen, and then also system audio. There we go. Now, that should work. So if we go like this, and then I go here. Let's just see when it should work. So if we go like this, and then I go here, 10, 15 seconds behind. Let's just see when it should work. So if we go like this, and then we go here, and oh, I'm 8 seconds behind. So if we go this, and then we go here, 8 seconds behind. Huh. Let's see. Let's just be careful. Okay. Okay. Settings. Speaker. Reduce mic background. I don't know why I have that on. Mic volume. Echo. Stereo audio. Let me try that. Recording. Not recording. Huh. Audio. Okay. Oh, I see. Let's try that now. Okay, that might. Now I think, I don't know. I think that might work. Let's find out. Okay. Go back to this, and we'll go back to this. Okay. I don't know. Now we just have to wait and see. Let's find out. Okay. Back to this. We'll go back to this. Okay. Now we just have to wait and see. Let's find out. Okay. Back to this. Okay. Now we just have to wait and see. Wow, I don't hear the. I do not hear the engine. Let's figure out why that is. I don't hear the. I do not hear the engine. Maybe just barely. It's weird. Huh. Well, as long as we have full power, we've got our flaps, got our lights. I think we'll just try to fly here. We'll just see what happens. Release the. Is that the parking brake there? There we go. Okay. We'll just try to fly. It's. We'll see what happens if we can get out of here. Huh. Huh. This is. Buzz the control tower. All right. All right, so we're going to do this downwind here. Here's the Duwamish. So I think we're abeam the control tower now. I'm trying to maintain 700 here, or below 700. And then this is sketchy, but I think the weather will improve. And we can climb up to 1500 here. So I want to go back to full power. I don't know if you can hear the rain, and the plane's making a lot of funny noises. I think it's just the wind and the maybe the rain. The trim on this is really hard. It's not realistic at all. I can see the shoreline across the water here, so if I couldn't, I would have turned back. Wow. The other thing I could do is tune those Seattle VOR, which is, I think it's 116.8. So we're basically coming up on Bainbridge Island here, and we could just keep climbing, because we're only not even at 2,000 yet. So it's 116.8. I'm going to tune that in. And there's actually an airway, Victor 4. It's a 310 radial. So I'll just tune that in. And that will take us right where we want to go. I don't really want to climb up too high with this current weather. It's a pretty typical day around the Seattle area. Actually, it's usually not this bad. Although it does rain a lot, it it's kind of sporadic, and it's usually early in the day or at night. But usually by around noon or so, it's burned off, and the weather it turns out to be pretty nice. So we'll try to turn to the right a little bit, and just generally we'll try to follow that airway. Even it's not really my overall intent. I was just gonna do some pilotage here. So downtown Seattle's just kind of right over there. Actually, one of the arrivals to Boeing Field is basically straight off our wing out there. There's a ship canal. You can kind of see it just on the other side of that hill. It comes in there, and it just follows in to basically right into downtown Seattle. You just follow that. Follow that until you intersect I-5, and then just follow it right back to Boeing Field. So if we had to, we can get back that way. So I want to stay out of that. Or reduce power a little bit. Just reduce power. Oh, that's a little too much. So probably just maintaining around 2,000 here that's going to be about what it is. And then we'll try to get back on course here. Just try to. Well, you just barely touch the trim wheel, just a smidge, and it just then goes like this, and it goes like this. That's not realistic. All right. We need to just double check my heading here. I'm playing with my power settings on the Xbox controller here to try to level out right here at 2,000. And just touching the power controls in or out a tiny bit, A and B, it just makes wild swings in the power. And So fuel, flaps, mixture, throttle, carb heats off, lights, ignition, battery. So we can run our official checklist here. Cruise 19 to 2550. The trim is required. Mixture lean is required. We're good. Yeah, this thing says 25. We show like 2500 RPM or something, and I pull the throttle back and it'll just stay there, and then all of a sudden it'll drop. So this is a nice model, but the controls are so over touchy, kind of goofy. So, oops. So we're drifting off course here. I was just trying to follow this shoreline a little bit. But the other thing we can do is pull up the VFR map on here. I've never really used it too much. So I said I have friends that live up here. So we just want to head up this way. So we'll get back on to about a 300. Add a touch of power so we're not descending. The weather's better now. The weather should improve, I think, as we continue north here. I have my landing light on just for a little extra visibility. This one has landing light in the nose. Most 152s have the landing light in the nose like that, but I fly one that has a landing light in the wing, and it is like the landing light from a 747 or something. It is bright. When you check it, you just about blind yourself. So let's see, we want to keep turning over. If we head about 300, we should see the bridge out here. Should be a little further up. That's Hood Canal out there, I think. Yeah. The bridge, I think, is right here. The other thing I wish I could do, I know there's got to be a way, but on FSX, which is the last one that I flew a lot, you could very easily raise your eye, because I sit a little taller, a little higher in a 152, and I should be able to see over this glare shield here. And the airport we're going to, I think, is a 0 Sierra Niner. Zero Sierra Niner. I was actually going to fly in there this weekend, and I've flown in there before, but it was a long time ago. The bridge should be right out here. Oh, there it is, I think. Yeah, I think that's the floating bridge. You can barely see it. Maybe it went under again. 2 of the 3 floating bridges have gone down in a storm. I actually was flying out of Seattle when the I-90 bridge, part of it, there's actually 2 bridges, so there's technically 4, I think 4 floating bridges. I don't think they added another one at the 520 bridge in Seattle, but they did add a second bridge to the I-90 bridge, so it's technically 2 bridges. I don't know why I'm climbing, but I don't want to be. Anyway, it's because I'm talking. There we go. Anyway, I was flying out of Seattle one time, and it was right after the I-90 bridge went down. It was under construction, I think, and somebody left the valves open or something that on the pontoons, and anyway, it went down. It was weird to see, having driven over it a million times over my whole life. Weird to fly over it. Okay. I do not like this. I just want to start a descent here because we're going out over water here. This is the mouth of the Hood Canal, but I do not like this. What we should do is turn back over that way. I try to get back on that course, which following the course isn't the most important thing, but it would help keep my bearings. So now 0 Sierra Niners showing up on our VFR map here. So we still have visibility. It's not great, but we can go down if we need to. We're also flying through an MOA, which you have an F-18 come screaming through here. There's a naval air station right up here. And they do have F-18s based up there. The Growlers. There, it's much better. That might be the airport up there too. So I add in a little power, hopefully just try to maintain 1500 here, I think is fine. Also not showing on this VFR map. There is on one of these little islands up here. There's that national security area. The weather's greatly improved now. So yeah, we want to get over the mainland over here, stay away from those islands, I think that's going to be the best course. And if we follow that, if we get back on that Victor 4, we'll be We'll be just to the west side of the airport. This airport is 27 and 9er, and they want to keep the traffic south of the airport. So there's a right-hand pattern on runway 9er, left-hand pattern on runway 27. Now we could use the onboard ATC thing here to we can check the weather up here. Yeah, that Indian Island, I think is what that's called. I think they store like missiles and arms. It's at like an arms depot. And the submarine base is back down Hood Canal there. It's called Bangor. It's one of the nuclear submarine bases. So that's another one that has a magenta dash line around it. So we'll go Jefferson County, check the weather. It's looking good.
0 Sierra 9er, automated weather observation, 2200 Zulu. Wind, 242 at 4. Visibility, 10. Sky conditions, ceiling 9,400 feet overcast. Temperature, 11 Celsius. Dew point, 10 Celsius. Altimeter, 2958.
29er.
Sierra 9er, automated weather observation, 2200 Zulu. Wind, 238 at 4. Visibility, 10. Sky conditions, ceiling 9,400 feet overcast. Temperature, 11 Celsius. Dew point, 10 Celsius. Altimeter, 2958.
Okay.
Sierra 9er, automated weather observation, 2200 Zulu. Wind, 238 at 4. Visibility, 10.
We're going to overfly the airport.
Ceiling 9,400 feet overcast.
We'll select runway 27. I could turn her off.
Dew point, 10 Celsius. Altimeter, 2958.
We'll just announce our position here.
0 Sierra 9er traffic Cessna November 2 Charlie Golf 1 miles east, 1,600 feet inbound to land runway 27.
I love it when it gives me a female voice. Yeah, so the pattern altitude is at 1,000. Airport is at 30 feet. And let's see here. I wanted to try to set my altimeter to 2958. Well, we were at 2959, I think, before. So I think we're pretty good. So we'll get back to work here. Fuel flaps. We'll go ahead and set the mixture rich, and then lights, carpeet's off, lights, power will set, and then ignition and battery. So we'll run our before landing seats and seat belts, seat belts, carb heat, cold, flaps. I'm sorry, mixture rich, lights as required, carb heat on, and our once we descend. So we're gonna head out here. We'll go out here and descend to pattern altitudes. So we got a good look at the airport. I don't hear anybody else talking. If we were here, we would be saying Jefferson County traffic Cessna 2 Charlie Golf is about 2 to 3 miles west, descending to pattern altitude, planning to enter 45 degree to the left downwind, runway 27, Jefferson County. Any other traffic advised, Jefferson County. You don't have to say that, but sometimes people aren't talking. All right, so let's go ahead and descend here. Now we're just climbing like crazy. Hello. Carpet on. Let's try to descend out here. Well, the weather here is much nicer. I didn't intend to climb like I was there. We'll just add in some power here. So I pulled the power to idle and it was showing 1500 RPMs. That's a little aggressive. Okay, so now we're getting in here at pattern altitude. Still have carb heat on. We'll put that off for now. All right. So try to maintain 1000 here. Jefferson County traffic, Cessna 2 Charlie Golfs. On a 45 degree entry to the left downwind, runway 27, Jefferson County. I don't hear anybody, so. Now we're getting low. But we are slowing down a bit, which is good. Last time I came in here, I was high. There's some trees on the final there, so all right. Okay. I'm a little low. I don't like it. Low and slow. The power settings on here are so weird. I'm gonna blame Microsoft. I'm just gonna hold it right about like this and bring it around, and then the other thing is you can't just turn your head. You have to like move your head over to see where you're at. Okay. So, all right, we're fast though. Here we are again. We're fast and high. We were low and slow there. I'm just gonna go full flaps. Power to idle. There we go. Looking better. It's like we're full flaps, fuel, flaps, mixture, throttle, carb heat, lights, ignition, battery. All right. I'm not going to try to slip it in either. You see there's some pretty tall trees right there. I've seen worse. I was going to actually fly down to an airport that's much worse. Okay, come on now. Oh. It's hard to steer. Oh. A little aggressive on the steering there. Just trying to find the brakes. Uh, all things considered, the rudder pedals are these buttons here, and it's kind of like all or nothing. They have a taxiway light right in the middle of the taxiway. Boy, that's... I'm going to have to look and see. There's got to be a way, I'm sure, to desensitize the controls. It's funny, this whole thing is shaking too. It's vibrating. So Jefferson traffic, Cessna 2 Charlie Golf is clearly active. Taxiing to parking, Jefferson County. So let's see if we can just stop here for a minute. Hold the brakes. We'll put up flaps. Carpet off. That's the landing light. We'll probably turn the strobes off. The nav, beacon, taxi. We don't have pitot heat. And fuel flaps, mixture, throttle, carb heat, lights, ignition, battery. After landing, flaps up, carb heat, cold, mixture, lean is required. Lights is required. Trim set for takeoff. So the trim, it's so hard to see, and actually in real life it is hard to see sometimes too. This little indicator here can be really, and I bet if I tried to take off in flight sim right there, we would crash. But I'm going to follow the checklist for my own proficiency. All right, so we'll taxi to parking, give a little juice. A little more juice. Starting to think I had the parking brake set, but I didn't. Try to maintain that. I'm just going to go to idle. I think we need a turn in there. Yeah. Well, that was a pretty sketchy flight up until we got up here, which is funny because generally I would say there's probably more rain up in this area than Seattle. It depends. There's a rain shadow in the mountains over here, so sometimes. And then there's Vancouver Island. I think to taxi and not talk. Up on Vancouver Island too. Because the weather's coming down from the west northwest usually, like coming down from Alaska, so to speak. So in the North Pacific. So there can be. Oh my gosh. I had a little space heater on down by my feet, and it was getting a little hot in here. Wow. I don't know what I hit there. I hit a hole in the taxiway or something. The whole plane jerked. Oh, come on. Like, I don't know if we're it doesn't seem like we're taxiing uphill, but almost like we're taxiing in thick gravel, but I think it's just an old, oh boy, there's a Bonanza or something parked there. We'll go over here by the van is waiting for us. Oh shoot. I hit full power. I was trying to hit the brake. Jeez. We'll park over here by this 182. Ay, ay, ay. Do one more little. There we go. There we go. My goodness, the brake on this thing is. Okay, that was my fault. I was trying to hit the brake as the X, and I was hitting the A. There's sure a lot of people standing around out here. This is a dangerous place. Okay, I'm gonna set the parking brake. I wouldn't do that in person. I'm trying to figure out if I can turn off. Let's zoom in there. I don't know if there's a way to turn off. I don't think this has an avionics master. It should. You think? Well, we'll just say we turned them off. Sometimes down in here there's that's the cabin heat, I think. Cabin air. Sometimes down in here there's a kind of an add-on aftermarket switch. The funny thing is it's different in every plane and it's in a different spot in every airplane, but sometimes there's an avionics master, but so we'll just say we shut them off here. We'll turn off our beacon. We leave on. That one I'm going to leave on as well, because otherwise the panel gets too dark to see. Okay. So fuel flaps are up, mixtures, throttle should be at 1,000. Lights, ignition, battery. So try to pull the mixture. Wow, that was exaggerated. Ignition off. Nope. Oh, come on. No, 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 no. That's why you don't stand by the prop. Good grief. There we go. Off. Master off. I don't love that feature either. Okay. Well, that was a little bit better. Wasn't perfect. Um, This thing is so hard to fly in reality. I mean, in the game, it's hard to fly. In reality, it's easy to fly. It's fun. So this is Jefferson County. Port Townsend, the town, is just up to the north. It's a pretty cute little town, very scenic, very charming, like a little seaside village. So thanks for tuning in. I was thinking about flying. If the weather was better, there was another airport that's got some really tall trees around it. I was thinking about doing that, and also down south of Boeing Field. If you go down, there's airports down there that are fun to fly into. And then what I was thinking of doing is going down there, and then there's a transition that goes right over the top of SeaTac. There's two of them, and so I was going to do that, and we'll do that on the next flight when the weather's better. This was pretty sketchy weather, so anyway, thanks for tuning in to this episode. Here, I don't know how to. Let's see, stop sharing, and then I should be able to go like that. So that should take care of that. Anyway, thanks for tuning into this live stream of part two. Uh, I'm still learning how to both fly this version of Flight Sim on Xbox via my computer, and then also live streaming at the same time. As I said yesterday, it's like juggling. There's um, trying to do two things at once and trying to present something that's coherent or at least semi, I don't know, informative or entertaining either way. So anyway, thanks for tuning in into this episode. I'm going to try to fly tomorrow. I had an idea of a flight for tomorrow, so I might actually try to do like a cross country. Maybe we'll pick up here and do a cross country. I was thinking like across the state, which there's a lot of terrain, a lot of high terrain, and so flying from here on this point. Let's see if I go to sky. Let's see, how do we do that here? Yeah, if we go to this here, yeah, okay. So we're up here at Jefferson County. Let's get back to we can do Seattle. There we go. All right. So we're up here at Jefferson County. And then if you wanted to fly across the state of Washington, there's a lot of terrain out here. 11,000, 9, 10, you know. So just straight out here, there's a lot of terrain, and then there's that that it's not a restricted area, but it's a national security. And then come out here, there's so if you wanted to get out, is this Spokane? So Spokane, you've got a military base, you've got Class C, you've got numerous airports. This is more the GA airport over here at Phelps Field. And then Coeur d'Alene is that's a nice area. So if you want to fly out here, it's not as simple as it looks. In a 152, no less. So my theory is maybe take off from here and come back down towards Seattle. Then you also have to navigate the Class B and then fly out this way. I know there's a lot of medical helicopters that they kind of shoot up through this area here. I've been on these train tracks, and I think it's the lowest pass through the mountains here. So um, the lowest road pass through the mountains is here. It's Snoqualmie, which is like 2,600, I think. And then, so if you wanted to get through here, let's see what it says here. The the road here is like 2,607, but there's terrain all around. So 55, 59, 51, 54. So 8,000 over here. There's there's but this is so my thought is to kind of shoot through this area here. This is kind of the lower lower area, but there's not much there's no civilization back here other than the railroad. This Leicester is just it's like a train service stop. It's not really a town. So, but that's kind of my idea is plan a trip of coming through here, and then once you get over here, now you can follow the railroad out here, and then you can follow I-90. There's a lot of airports. There's a airfield back Bandera. I've never seen it, but it's right along I-90. It's just kind of in behind the trees when you're driving through there. And I've seen it my whole life, but I've never actually been there. So this is kind of it's a Bandera state. It's really an emergency airfield. Easton, kind of the same thing. And then Cle Elum, there's a couple airports up there, Ellensburg, and then head out this way. Quincy, there's an old Air Force base here. I've done like 13 touch and goes or something on this runway here. So, and then all at once, by the way, not 13 in a day. And then I think this runway is like, I don't know, it's almost 14,000 feet, maybe 13 something. And then, so anyway, yeah, I would probably fly out this way or either follow I-90 or which is somewhere down here. That would be a good route. Go across. And then I've flown in here before, but it's been a while. So it's kind of a challenging area. So trying to come up with a flight plan to come across would be kind of a fun adventure. So I might try to do that tomorrow. Try to do some kind of flying. I'm gonna try to do some kind of flying every day on here. I think it helps a lot. So helps me, but also just coordinating the live stream. I'm trying to get the live streaming down, get better at that too. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. It's only been an hour. Every time I do one of these, I think, oh yeah, I'll just do like a 20 or 30-minute flight up to, Jefferson County, no big deal. Then trying to figure out the sound and all the issues I was having at the beginning, and then it always seems to take 3 times longer than I anticipate. So thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna kind of watch this back and see I don't know if I got the audio of the airplane or anything. I have no idea. So normally I do have that sound, and it just didn't seem like it was coming through today. So I had to restart my computer right before I started, and so everything was kind of rushed. So thanks for tuning in, part 2. I'll be back with another video soon. See ya.